I want to live out of abundance. Hey, Justice. Stop drawing on the wall. No, it's not okay. Come get a rag and wash it off. What are you working on in here?
I made a chipotle lime chili with that beef we got yesterday.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. It's getting there.
Do you like having a freezer full of meat?
I do, and it's full of turkey, beef, chicken, and all sorts of innards and feet. It's pretty exciting in the deep freezer right now.
Wipe it off the wall, bud. Wipe it up.
I don't see anymore.
Okay. Good job. Give me 5. Give me 5. Yeah, nice job. What you got, pretty lady?
It's a parrot. It's my own pet parrot.
What did we just see out there in the yard?
A hunted deer.
A hunted deer. We just went out and talked to 2 guys who were dragging a giant 10-point buck down out of the woods. They had taken it with a bow on land 2 neighbors over, and then it had run along the ridge and then dropped down, and then they had to just pull it straight down the hill, so they came out right above our place. It's pretty amazing. I'm taking a short walk. We were busy this morning. We had some friends over. This afternoon, my goal is to shoot a very simple video. I want to shoot a simple video because we normally edit our videos in the evening time. But this evening, Brianna and I are gonna have a little home date. It's one of our favorite kinds of dates. We usually get something special to eat. Sometimes we'll watch a movie, and we can just hang out and talk to each other and reconnect. I wanted to talk to y'all briefly while I walk up here to check my spring about living out of abundance. I want just to stay humble in this, and I want you to know I'm staying humble because I'm not perfect at this. I'm not even good at it. This is something I aspire to in multiple areas of my life. Brianna and I want our love to overflow from our relationship to our kids. We also want our love to be able to overflow in our actions so we can bless our friends and the community around us. We were talking earlier about having a full freezer. This is another example of living out of abundance. Basically, you have a choice with your freezer. You can have one small fridge in your house, and you can go to the grocery store, you know, once a week, or an extreme example would be every day of the week, and you can buy what you need for that day. And I call that living out of poverty or living out of desperation. But if you put some really hard work into it, and you put some planning into it, and you buy in bulk, and you have a larger freezer, you can actually eat out of a large store of food. Once you do that initial buying, you really only are buying the same amount of food. But I love the idea of going to the grocery store, not because we're desperate and we have to buy it, but because we're keeping our store, our larder full. I said earlier this concept can apply to many areas of life. You know, it can apply to your use of firewood or fuel. Now, I'm not a good example of this. My woodshed is about only 10% full. I have about 90% empty. I have just a very small portion of the firewood that I could burn in 1 year. I'm just behind on firewood. I'll just have to burn more kerosene this winter. It's been really, really dry this year. Bree was telling me that this is the 5th driest fall in the past like 100 something years that they've been recording rainfall. And I'm actually walking up here right now to our spring. Our water actually comes from the mountain behind our house. Spring is like the highest point in a creek, and it's right where water comes out of the ground. So many, many years ago, the man who built our house came up here and capped off a spring. It's completely covered, and he ran piping down to this reservoir. So here's the reservoir. I don't want to disturb it too much, but I do want to just peek inside at the water level. That reservoir is basically full. There's a little leak in the side, but it's full up to the point of the leak. I want to show you something really neat though. If you saw that water running, that's exactly what I've been talking about. That is the overflow from abundance. The reservoir of our spring really is a good illustration of this idea of living out of abundance. So you have a spring on the side of a mountain and it trickles out just a very small amount of water constantly. And then you have a reservoir, and a reservoir fills up slowly. Now if you were just to use the water straight off that little trickle coming out of the spring, you would never have enough water. You just wouldn't have enough water for your needs. You would always be struggling to do the things you needed to do with the water. The reservoir slowly fills up all the time, and that reservoir is there. So whenever you need water, you can have 100 gallons of water if you want it. You can wash 3 loads of laundry back to back. In my life, I really hope to develop these reservoirs in many different areas. I want to have 2 years of firewood in my woodshed. I want to continue to develop the relationship I have with my wife so that we have a reservoir of love for those times that are really dry. I know they'll come. It's really, really hard to stick with someone. It is like the challenge of a lifetime to stick with someone. And we've only been together just over 8 years. I want to build a reservoir into my marriage so that in the dry times, like now up on the mountain, we have water. There's a turtle shell. Probably the biggest and most important reservoir that I want to develop in my life though is what I would call my spiritual reservoir. Now you don't have to believe what I believe to identify with this concept. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day and he said that the battle of life is a battle of thoughts, and what you believe about the universe and about God and who God is actually is where the battle in your heart, the battle for sanity, the battle to be able to be a healthy, productive person, that's where it happens. It's in your thoughts about what is true. For me, living out of abundance spiritually means that I am confident in God's view of me and God's acceptance of me. I don't have to live in shame. I don't have to live in fear at all. Imagine that, a life with no fear. No fear. If you weren't afraid of anything, that would be amazing. For me, a life of living out of spiritual abundance would be true love, casting out all fear. It would be a totally fearless life. And that's what I aspire to. When you find spiritual wholeness and health and happiness, then you can overflow and actually genuinely love the people around you. But if you are constantly hungering and you're not satisfied, you're just going to hurt people. I'm standing up here right now just looking over the house, and I'm just so thankful for all the blessings in life. I mean, this place is amazing. YouTube has been a huge blessing. It's been crazy, crazy hard work. What I'm thankful for is God's heart of imagination that got us to jump into YouTube. Whether you believe in God or not, that's what I'm thankful for right now. I'm thankful for this place that I really feel was given to us. Actually just walked up here with my camera thinking, hey, I'm gonna talk about this to shoot a cool video, but it's actually been inspiring to me, just me alone with the camera. But it's not just me alone, it's me and you all watching. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. I hope you got something out of that. Our next video will be posted on Tuesday morning. We don't shoot a video on Sunday, so we make our next video Monday, post it on Tuesday. You all have a great day.